From an early age, people find heavy machinery construction equipment fascinating. Kids want to play with digger toys, sit on small versions in local parks, or just watch construction equipment adventures on TV. It is this fascination that one British company would adapt to become multiple construction-themed theme parks, allowing children the opportunity to operate real, full-size diggers, spin in the buckets, or just dig until their heart's content.
The summer fun's right here at Diggerland, the most fun-packed adventure park in the land. Drive around in a Jcb, or take the flag at the Kids Grand Prix. You can drive mini tractors or go dumper truck racing, fly the sky shuttle or ride the spin dizzy. Log on now to diggerland.com.
Diggers, or excavators, are an essential piece of equipment for the majority of construction projects around the world today. Most often used for earth moving, they come in all different sizes and styles. The first machine to resemble an excavator was the steam shovel in the mid-1930s. Designed to accomplish what a group of men with shovels could, but faster and more efficiently. American inventor William Otis would use the power of steam on rails, a toothed bucket, and a swinging boom arm to assist the railroad construction industry. His design set the stage for more powerful hydraulic excavators that would follow. It would be over 100 years later, in 1951, after the end of World War II, that a prototype would be designed that would become the first mass-produced hydraulic excavator. The early 50s saw countries all over the world coming out with designs for their own diggers. Products that would drastically change the way construction projects operated. One company, Jcb, had a pivotal year for new products when they invented the backhoe loader, launching their brand new Jcb Mk1 excavator. It would be the first time a single machine had been produced with a hydraulic rear excavator and a front-mounted shovel, a design that still remains incredibly popular today. Construction machines were becoming big business, and by the 1960s and 70s, it was clear that new construction machines were revolutionizing the building industry. Hugh Edalinu, who was finishing an engineering degree at Cambridge in 1972, purchased a second-hand Jcb 3C and used it to generate extra cash. He soon realized the potential for self-driving excavators and began to expand his fleet, creating HE services. Hugh would spend a year working as a professional engineer after graduating, while running his small digger rental business at the same time. As the rental business became more and more popular, he made the decision to try and work for himself. Over the years, the rental business would grow rapidly, becoming the largest specialist excavator hire company in the UK. They employed several hundred people across multiple locations, with the fleet, that began from one used digger, growing to over 2,500 pieces of all different kinds. Not only would they rent equipment, but Hugh would try and find ways to innovate the company. In 1989, he realized he could offer great value to his customers in the form of time saving by fitting a quick hitch system on excavators for changing buckets, designing a brand new system which was far better than anything that already existed. New innovation was about to come once again. In the year 1996, various pieces of construction equipment were lined up in the parking lot of the Kane Company for an open house day. Toy excavators were incredibly popular for kids growing up, and getting to come and visit and see the real thing was an instant hit. While there were clients there looking at the company's offerings to purchase, Hugh noticed how fascinated not only children, but adults were with the equipment, sitting in cabs of the diggers and taking photos while moving the controls. Instantly, the concept of Diggerland was born, bringing the opportunity that normally required training and certificates to operate heavy machinery to anyone who wanted to visit.
I'm Dougie, and I want to welcome you to my home, Diggerland. By observing these simple rules, you will have a safe and really great day out at Diggerland, with buckets of fun. Children over 90 centimeters tall can ride or drive the majority of the diggers.
Most fans of theme parks get excited when they see what comes from construction within. Here, Construction would be the whole theme. At the Medway City Estate in Strood, Kent, the very first Diggerland opened. 9-ton diggers would become toys that anyone could play with. The attraction started small in the company's parking lot on weekends only, making use of where most of the rented machines sat unused due to projects not working at weekends. In a long row, a line of Jcb 803 and 805s sat atop a giant mound of mud. Turn in a token and anyone could jump in the saddle and operate the machinery, with children and adults slinging mud all around. That wasn't all on offer. Close by, the Jcb 801s with modified digging arms presented specific challenges for visitors to attempt. These included using a hook on the end of the arm to snag a fake duck from a barrel of water, or the chance to dig and find buried treasure. Other attractions included the Sky Shuttle, a Jcb 532120 telehandler, basically a giant 42,000-pound forklift truck, would send 6 passengers at a time into the air, whirling them around the yard. Dumper trucks provided train rides, and an off-road course was available for diggers. Jcb video games were available to play, and there were even tiny pedal-powered Jcbs for toddlers to operate. This was perhaps one of the only theme parks in the world where the worse the weather, the better the mud to dig. Hewitt turned the excitement of operating heavy machinery into a fully fledged attraction, and the reviews stated it was a riveting experience. Just like the shovel, it was groundbreaking. Entrance was just £2.50, with each attraction being around £1 to try out. For £18, you could get unlimited rides all day. Younger children would need to be accompanied by an adult on the diggers, but could be of any age as long as they were over the modest height limit. Instructors and marshals observed each attraction to keep it as safe as possible.
For the machines. Before you climb into the machine, you need to put on a hard hat. Please make sure that it is done up tight.
Is allowing a 5-year-old to operate heavy construction machinery safe? Well, yes, apparently so. The park's safety record was glowing, and it was the park's #1 priority. There was no record of any accidents ever occurring at any of the parks. The marshals had devices to shut down the equipment immediately if it was required, and the machines were limited in speed. Diggers were bolted with steel plates to the ground, so it wasn't possible to dig a hole and then drive into it. As an extra safety mechanism, it would shut down the digger if the boom arm swung too far to the left or right. You could even join special, unlimited speed barbecue dinner dumpster derbies for a chance to compete in races. These races were only available to adults, but you could also sign up to race a Jcb or Land Rovers. In the early days, the company's work cafeteria doubled as a cafe to pick up food for those visiting, and the park even had its own mascot, Metal Mickey. Hello! Hugh had hit the nail on the head, and right away it was extremely popular. During its first year of operation, over 20,000 visitors paid to be able to operate heavy construction machinery. New additions continue to come, including the 22-ton Jcb JS220 hydraulic excavator with modified seating bucket that allowed visitors to sit in the bucket and spin around atop a mound on Spin Dizzy. Every attraction offered in the park was modified construction equipment, many of which provided by Jcb, who had an interest in using their brand to advertise in theme parks, creating some of the most unique attractions at any amusement park in the world. Further parks joined the original quickly due to the success. Less than a year after opening, Diggerland Durham opened in March 2001. This was quickly followed by another in Devon, operating on weekends, each adjacent to the company's equipment depots. The original park was so popular that it was selling out daily and needed more space. The popularity was concrete evidence that Diggerland was a success. It moved 3 miles to a new location in Kent and increased daily capacity from 800 to 2,000 a day, with many more people living out their Bob the Builder dreams. The core of each park remained the same, though the layout and location varied. The fourth 70-acre park, located in West Yorkshire, opened in Easter 2007. Each Diggerland park couldn't be further away from the festival and fantasy found in the majority of theme parks around the world. It was a tribute to the machines, engineers, and manufacturers of construction equipment. Equipment that also ironically built many of those fantasy worlds at other parks. This really wasn't your average theme park offering. That isn't to say construction equipment hasn't been used as a theme at larger parks over the years. In 2003, at another UK park, American Adventure turned the once gladiator-themed Iron Wolf roller coaster into the Jcb Twin Looper. The park also added Jcb World, which allowed visitors to operate Jcb diggers within the park. Sadly, we all know how that park ended up. Each Diggerland opened at a fraction of the cost of other theme parks around the world, the bonus being that they could use their own equipment to landscape the parks, before that very same equipment became the rides. Diggerland had big plans to expand even further around the world. CEO Hugh Edalinu commented, "The concept of Diggerland is a global one. America gave the world Disney, and we have given the world Diggerland." After a temporary park was built and successful in Dubai during the summer of 2005, it was announced the first permanent international Diggerland would open in 2006 in Richmond, Virginia. It never happened, and both this and the planned permanent Dubai parks would be cancelled due to the recession. The dream of an American Diggerland wouldn't die. The Goya family, owners of Sambay Construction in West Berlin, New Jersey, started work on their new, ambitious project. They were constructing a construction site, the first franchised Diggerland USA, the only construction equipment themed theme park in the US.
It's Diggerland, a construction theme park. Come and operate real machinery with the family, drive real diggers, experience the backhoe adventure, stop the ordinary and try the extraordinary. Reach new heights on the Sky Shuttle, go digger mad on the Spin Dizzy, and unearth adventure on the Excavator Express. Book a group event or the coolest birthday party ever. Visit DiggerlandUSA.com. Buckets of fun for everyone. Now open in West Berlin, New Jersey behind Sahara Sam's indoor and outdoor water park.
Inspired by the British parks, this Diggerland turned the brand into a global attraction. The positive reaction gave them hopes that eventually Diggerland parks could be found all over the US. While the UK parks have stayed mostly the same since opening, Diggerland USA has expanded greatly with new offerings. This is normally the part in expeditions where things start to turn south, towards becoming extinct. Today though, that is not the case. Not yet at least. Though the chain of park story does become somewhat more rocky, it is hopefully nothing a Jcb can't dig through. In April 2015, plans were agreed to open a fifth UK park, planned to break ground and open the following summer. It is kind of interesting to think construction-themed theme parks break ground every day, but that's a whole different thing. 2 years later, with no progress, the plans were withdrawn, due to an unexpected and unforeseen circumstances beyond the park's control. They would try and work with the council to find a new location, but this would never come. Future plans for the park would suffer again, with the COVID-19 pandemic taking a hard toll on the adventure park. In August 2021, it was announced that Diggerland Devon would close for the foreseeable future because of issues caused by the pandemic and struggles with staffing. The other 3 parks would remain open, but with deep regret, Diggerland had to close the location in Devon. The pandemic had had a detrimental effect on the business as a whole, and they had lost a lot of money. The Devon location, which relied heavily on tourism, was affected the most, and the park stated that the decision to close it had not been an easy one. This issue is not unique to Diggerland. Trying to recover from the pandemic is going to be tough for amusement parks, big and small, for years to come. Not only in the UK, but around the world. With parks struggling after closures, their futures uncertain, the end of Diggerland Devon is just one story, like so many others struggling to stay afloat as the pandemic continues. It is hard not to think back of not only the great times at bigger parks growing up, such as Alton Towers, Disney or Universal, but the smaller ones also. Unique attractions such as Diggerland, The Big Sheep, Lightwater Valley, Woodlands, or whatever the equivalent smaller attractions are in your area of the world, create incredible memories and experience year after year for locals and tourists alike. And it is sad to see these unique places struggling. Diggerland became a worldwide theme park franchise based on construction that hopefully will continue to grow in the future, rather than disappear. Its success story stems from a company seeing children and adults alike marvel at the real world around them, and taking that idea to create something unique that almost feels like it should have existed longer. Because let's be real, every kid should get the chance to operate something as cool as a digger in real form. It is a troubled time for many parks right now, so if you get the opportunity, I encourage you to visit those unique smaller places to stop them becoming just another expedition extinct. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Expedition Theme Park. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe to join the expedition. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram for updates on upcoming episodes. And a special thank you to our Patreons for supporting the channel. We will see you next time.
The summer fun's right here at Diggerland. The most fun-packed adventure park in the land. Drive around in a Jcb, or take the flag at the Kids Grand Prix. You can drive mini tractors or go dumper truck racing, fly the sky shuttle or ride the spin dizzy. Log on now to diggerland.com.
08700 34437.